What's up, guys? Today we're back with another live episode. It's episode 10, and I have a good friend today, Jose. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So, guys, welcome to another live episode. I'm glad to be doing this. Um, Usually, I like to be together with somebody interacting face to face, but we're in COVID time, so live streaming is also good.
Yeah, it is.
So how you been, Jose? How's things been going for you? I see you've been traveling a lot to do photos, which is great. And I see you're taking your precautions of getting tested every time you travel. How you been?
I've been good. I've been very good. Life has been very fortunate for me during COVID in terms of just how life has gone. Originally, I'm from Texas. I'm from Dallas, and so I made the big bold decision to move to be closer to my partner, and so now I live in Springfield, Illinois. Definitely a major jump. Definitely a major difference and change, but it was definitely worth it, and it still has been. But in the time of COVID, I've lost 50 pounds, and so not many people can say that. Most people are dealing with COVID weight, but I mean, life. But yeah, aside from that, photography kind of froze for me during COVID, and then finally I started making the decision of like, okay, if I travel, can I do this and keep the possibility of getting COVID, can I keep that to a minimum? And so, of course, I travel by car. I don't go through airplanes or through airports. And yeah, really, I've kept the risk down, and got tested each and every time. And the content that's coming from it is great. You guys will love it, and I think you guys have already started to see some of that, but there's plenty more to come.
Yes, definitely. I'm glad you're taking your precautions. Now, a lot of during these times, we see a lot or hear a lot that people are not taking their precautions, but I'm glad you are and staying safe. Congrats on the move and the weight loss, because
Thank
that's a
you.
good thing. There's articles that go around saying like people's getting COVID weight and stuff, and I will agree. I got some weight, but that's good for you. Is take care of your health, get tested. I've seen some of your work that you uploaded so far, and it looks great. Can't
Thank
wait
you.
to see. Can't wait to see more. Um, why photography? Why? What made you just be like, I'm gonna get this camera. And just be like, bam, I want to take photos.
So originally, when I was in high school, I took a photojournalism class my senior year, and me and my teacher, Mr. Forrester, we grew very, very close, and he gave me a lot of training and a lot of tips and a lot of behind the scenes as far as how to set up the shot and how to actually bring the shot together. And I fell in love with it. I mean, that's really what I can say. Being able to say that I have the superpower of freezing time and taking a picture, that's amazing to me. But fast forward a few years, and I bought my first camera, and I thought, I really don't know what I'm going to do with this, but we'll see where it goes. Fast forward maybe about a year after that, and then I just happened to be at a nightlife show in Dallas, and the photographer that they had for that show didn't show up, and the event promoter knew me and knew of me enough and reached out to me that night, pulled me aside. I thought I had done something wrong. But he pulled me aside and he's like, hey, my photographer, didn't show up and bailed. You look like you have a pro grade camera. Would you mind taking, photos for me for the night? He offered me cash. He offered me a bar tab for that evening if I wanted to use it. And I was just kind of like, I just came here to enjoy the show.
Yeah.
That turned into a residency and a contract that I had for 3 years. And then his events and his company just closed. And so I started reaching out to figure out what I was going to do next. And then that led into portrait work, working in portrait photography. And then really that translated into cosplay, which has over the last 3 years has really evolved me. I mean, there's been a constant like going up and up and up, and I just had. If you were to ask me 6 years ago, would Jose be into photography and be the person he is today? I would have told you no. I didn't know that this was all going to happen, but it kept happening.
Funny enough, I was gonna ask you that, and well, if you wasn't gonna go into photography, I know you have your own regular job at the moment. What other hobby would you want to get into?
If not photography, something with digital marketing, or with digital art, period. I got some training in high school, and then of course a little bit in college, with how to create images and art in Photoshop. And so if it wasn't photography, it was going to be something digital art, and one kind of marries the other, because with photography you can do a lot of digital art and compositing, and so it kind of just blends the two together.
Very true, very true. Yeah, I know a lot of people are into web design or like photo editing, and that's their job. Like they don't want to do the camera work. They just like receiving the pictures and editing them and then sending it out, and that's all they do. And then
Yep.
and that's part of their job.
Yep.
So Jose, since we think we've known each other for a little bit, I sadly enough, I was thinking yesterday till today, how originally did we meet? Sadly enough, I'm such a bad friend. I don't remember. I just know I just knew you from PMC,
Mm-hmm.
which everybody knows as Power Morphicon, if for the people that don't know. And I knew you from there. Like, I didn't know you personally. I just heard a word like, oh, there's this new photographer,
Mm-hmm.
Jose. And I'm like, huh. I'm like, okay. And then I think somebody shared me your Instagram. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay. So I checked it out, and I was like, oh snap. Okay, he took in some pictures that people actually knew, and how, and I was just like, oh, that's great. And I was so how, like, who brought you, or like who introduced it, like, hey, come to Power Morphicon and take pics of us or other people.
Okay. So the way I got started into cosplay photography and this journey that I've been on the last 3 years, I originally got started with a company called Muscle Geek Physique, MGP, as most people know it. That company no longer exists and no longer, is together. The members of it still exist, but we're no longer together. They're
Yeah.
no longer together. But it was Anthony, actually, Anthony Grillo, who reached out to me and was like, hey, I've seen your work. Mind you, this was back in the time when we all lived in Dallas. And he was like, I've seen your work. I've seen, your level of creativity. Would you ever consider doing cosplay photography? And of course, I never knew what cosplay was, had no clue. And so, of course, I jumped at it after me and Anthony started talking. We set up a day to have dinner and sit down and talk with one another. And I met James that night too. And then from there, we did our first photo shoot. I want to say 2 weeks after that. We booked a shoot, and then it was my first introduction into cosplay. I had known of them from their viral video, of their wedding proposal and their
Yes.
marriage proposal. And so I had known of them a little bit on social media, but I didn't know what they did specifically beyond that. And then, of course, we did our first shoot, and then from there, it just kind of grew. I
Yeah.
can't really, I don't know how else to say it. But aside from that, like I said, the company no longer exists. The name still exists, but again, none of it really exists. But that being said, I got a lot of my introduction into cosplay, more specifically into Rangers and things of that nature. But from there, after we all separated and we all went our separate ways, when it came time to come to Power Morphicon, originally I was supposed to go with them, and that was the original plan. But when I went to PMC, for me, it was more like a I don't want this opportunity to just run from me. You know, I was supposed to go, and now that I'm not going, I still want to go to show up for my own self and show out. And
Yeah.
so I did. I went. I had never been to PMC before, never been to Power Morphicon. Maybe been to California once in my life, but that was it. And going, it was quite an experience. I met a lot of amazing people, a lot of cosplayers and people that I followed on social media and on Instagram. And little did I know that I was going to be received so well. I was afraid that people were just going to be like, "Oh, well, we don't know you, or you're a newbie. Nobody, nobody knows who you are."
Yeah.
But I mean, I was grouped with a good group of people, and people that I knew and supported me and wanted to work with me. And then I think actually, aside from us knowing each other from social media, you and I, we had then talked about you and me shooting at New York Comic Con, which was just a few months later.
Yeah. 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 I knew he was coming because oh man,
I was interested in your Red Sentry
yes.
cosplay. That's where
Yes.
it started.
I knew he was coming, and I know you said it, and but you know, New York Comic Con, getting ready for that is very crazy, and I know I know it was for you. I just remembered Jared was the one that said, "Hey, Jose's here," and I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Oh shoot, where?" And he's like, "Oh, you know, where all the cosplays go on the ground," and I'm like, "Oh." He's like, and he wants pics with you, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" I forget that we already talked about it.
Yeah,
But I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like, you know, con prep is like crazy nowadays.
it is.
And he was like, he wants to take pictures. I'm like, who, me? He's like, yeah, you. He's been looking for you. I'm like, oh, okay. So I forgot where he was, but like, I was already wearing the suit, but like, he was like, I'm gonna help you get through all the massive crowd.
Yes, I remember him guiding you, like he had you like walking you literally.
Yeah, he was holding my cape because he was like, let's not let make people step on it and everything. And I was like, hell yes.
Exactly.
But we took pictures. It was great. I took pictures with Manny because he had his pink Century, and that was great. Like, it was great. Like, you had a lot of people that was just waiting for take pictures with you, and I know you had like your schedule of people that wanted to take pictures with you also, which was great. And I you know, I love your work. I love that, like, when you go live, sometimes you show like your edits of like, because I know people have questions of like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Because they like to edit their own pictures too without, you know, spending money for a photo editor. And that's been great. Like, I've even learned some stuff too from watching what you do when you do that. You should definitely do more if you can. What inspired you to like join photography or keep going? I know high school you was already doing it, but like, what pushed you more into be like, I want to continue?
For me, it was, again, going back to being able to freeze time and capture a moment. Whether, aside from cosplay and aside from portrait work, my philosophy is everyone deserves to get their picture taken. A lot of people, depending on, you know, who you are and where you've come from and the things you've been through in life. Some people are very shy in front of a camera. Some people don't like how they look in front of a camera. Sometimes they have an image issue of how they feel or how they look. And I feel in my own mind that everyone deserves to get their picture taken, and everyone deserves to have that moment of glory and of glamour, so to speak. And that's kind of like my mantra is like, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how you look, it doesn't matter, you know, what you've been through in life. If you can sit there, smile, and take the joy in that, hey, someone wants to capture your image and immortalize you forever, that to me is gold. And so that's always been my constant like drive to continue is, you know, I can continue to freeze time, so to speak.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I do enjoy out of photography most of all is the connection with people, getting able to connect with individuals and that like the content that I'm putting out, that like what I'm shooting, and that, of course, you know, have comment and want to work with me. It's all about networking. It's literally just a giant web and bubble of networking, and that's really the joy of it is being able to work, continue working and continue having people that want to work with me.
Yeah, definitely. I know you've for say like you bust their ass, like you take pictures, like you share them. A lot of people like your work. I like your work personally. I know you've collabed with other photographers and to just help out. Um, and it's been great. This is good for you that you know besides doing your normal 9 to 5 job that you have a hobby that you love to do.
Yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, like it's great. It's
It
hopefully,
is. It really is.
hopefully, when things get back to normal, we could get you back out in the con world. And yes, we do have something set up already. Just
Yep.
COVID needs to end already so that we can
Yes,
actually do it.
please.
Because we know we need we a lot. I know a lot of people are saying like I miss cons. I miss getting dressed up. I was I wouldn't say I missed getting dressed up. That like it's just so stressful at
Okay.
this point. But I do miss cons. I do miss interacting with people. I do miss like helping the talent if I'm allowed to and everything. And I know you miss doing your photography stuff.
Yeah, I do.
So explain more of with like what you use to edit, like how like your like besides your 9 to 5, like how long does it take you to do an edit so then people can know like this ain't easy work. Sometimes you gotta find the filter or the proper
Balance.
yes, yeah, like tell us the process on that.
So, the equipment that I use, so I'm strictly a Canon camera person. Most people like Nikon, most people like Sony now, some people like Olympus, different brands, whoever you gravitate towards, but I like Canon. I've been a Canon boy since day one, and I use a Canon 6D Mark II camera. The lenses that I use a 35 prime lens and a 50 prime lens. Basically what that boils down to is they are prime lenses in that there is no zoom. You can't go back and forth from wherever you're standing. You physically have to move yourself to set up the shot. So they're stuck at 35 or in 50, and they're prime lenses in that they're mostly used for portrait work. Now in post, when it comes to editing, I use Photoshop. A lot of photographers like Photoshop, but most nowadays that I know are using Lightroom. Lightroom is also produced by Adobe, who owns Photoshop, and it's more like a condensed version of Photoshop. It's basically like the A to B bells and whistles that you'll need to edit, versus where Photoshop opens a whole nother world. It's like you can do compositing, you can do all these different effects and stuff like that that you can't do in Lightroom. I will say that a photo, depending on like how detailed and how graphic I'm trying to be in terms of like effects and compositing, a photo can take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes if I'm really nitpicking. If I'm doing just a clean sweep, I have pre-programmed actions that I already have set in Photoshop that I literally just hit play. And most photographers are like that. Their classic actions are what they usually do. They'll just press play and then the computer will do it all for you. But if I'm going to spend time, it can be anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes to sometimes I can get lost in a photo for an hour or two. And it really is a game of trial and error. I will say this, as a photographer, I don't have any formal training. I never went to school. I never graduated from from college with a degree in photography or anything of that nature. I did go to college, but I didn't graduate with that kind of degree.
Yeah.
But that being said, all the training that I've gotten over time has been, my professors were Google and YouTube. And a lot of modern photographers can say that, but those were my professors. That's where I learned, and then asking questions. Going back to something you said earlier, being able to pick up on tips and tricks as I've kind of like done lives and done videos about it. I feel like photography is not really a secret, and it never should be. There are a lot of photographers that I've met in my journey that have been very reserved about giving out, secrets or behind the scenes tips or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's been a kind of like a turn off in my journey. And as a photographer, it's like some people just want to like bottle up their secrets and never let them out, and that's
Yeah.
cool. But I'm the type of person that will give it back, that will share. And if you have a question, I will tell you. If I don't know the answer, I'll find it for you. And I've had 3 apprentices throughout my journey, and each one of them have gone on to do amazing things. One is a national booked photographer. He does drag photography. Another one is still back in Dallas. He is growing himself, but he has applied everything that I've taught him, and he's constantly changing and evolving. And that's to be able to see that I have inspired these individuals. And the third one, I'm still blossoming and working with him, working through it. But to see that I've inspired these individuals to be who they are and develop them a little bit is kind of like my way of just giving back what I know and how to pass it along, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense. I like that you share ideas, you share your work, you share how this edit looks compared to using something else. How you could bring out more, what would you say, like color
Mm-hmm.
to a photo without leaving it so dull, because sometimes even with the lighting and the background of the environment, like sometimes it looks good on camera, but then when you upload it, it's like, oh, like it looked this way, and then you show the difference. And I do definitely agree with you that a lot of people are just like, oh, figure it out yourself.
Right.
It's just like, or when it's just like, I'm coming for you because I love your work, or like we know each other in some way. And
Yeah.
some people are, unfortunately, just the way you say, they boil it up into a secret. And that, at least we know we have Google and YouTube and even other like free programs that be like, look, that will show you, because we need more people like that to just show work. I understand, like, you want to protect your work quality and people not copy you per se, because I know there is people that be like, I'll copy you, and for whatever reason.
Right.
But that's great. I really appreciate that. I like those lives. I like um those just the like mini sessions where you just be like, all right, here's the picture that I took. Here's how I cleared out the picture. Here how I made it more bolder and colorful, and here's how to like put a background. Somebody requests for a background or whatever. Make
Yeah.
make it look more lively. Um, if so, a good question would be if out of nowhere, like a company was
Mm-hmm.
to like message you, or be like, hey, we want you to work for us. Who would it be? Like, who would be like your top company that'd be like, hey, Jose, we love your work, we love your edits, we wanna work with you.
Um, a dream come true would be to work on the set of Power Rangers a season. If Hasbro was to, I mean, unfortunately, we've heard the rumors recently that um, Dino Fury might be their last season. But if they were to continue that, I think I would definitely be interested and would definitely, give it some consideration if Hasbro were to reach out to me and be like, "Hey, we've seen your work, we've seen, your content. We really like it. We would definitely be interested in bringing you on as a photographer for a Ranger season, and trying you out and what have you." I would definitely be interested in that. I think that would be a full circle moment for me. Being a kid and going from watching this show to now being a part of it. I won't lie. When I did my first photo shoot with Anthony, how long ago? 3 years ago.
Yeah.
When I did my first photo shoot with Anthony, and I tell him that sometimes it cracks him and makes him cry because it's a real moment. After we packed up and we said our goodbyes, it was literally a 3-hour photo shoot. We did 8 suits in 3 hours, and after I left and I was driving on my way back home, everything just flooded back into me. And all of a sudden I can remember this feeling of like little 7 and 8 year old Jose jumping up and down on the inside. Like, you did that. You literally just did that. You just shot actual Ranger suits. So for me, I was crying on the way back home. I know it's hard to imagine a grown man to cry, but I legit cried on my way back home. And I think that full circle moment would be for me to to work out with Hasbro and, be a part of that brand. Even if it was just to take like the promo shots of the cast in those suits, that to me would be literally a full circle moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I think at like 90s kids would definitely at any moment would like take an opportunity to do something with Power Rangers, just because like, we grew up on them. We love the show. We of course we will want to be a part of it. That's why we, as us cosplayers, we get the helmets, we get the suits, we get everything we need to be a Power Ranger, let's say.
Yep.
Because we're not real Power Rangers, and we'll probably never be in the show, but we could always have hopes and dreams of like, one day somebody would notice and be like, go on the show, or like you never know, even Hasbro, because they're always watching. They're watching.
Yep. They're always watching. And I think with me, like a lot of people know my photography for being clean and simple and studio worthy and what's the word I'm looking for? It's been said before. Very very studio portrait professional, quote unquote. Let's just use those words. But that's what I've been known for. When I first shot, I shot on a white background, and those pro studio style shots is what I became known for. And so, yeah, if Hasbro were to ever reach out to me, knock on my door, send me a letter, send me a DM, I mean, hey, Hasbro, I'm right here. If you're watching, I'm right here. But if they were ever to reach out, definitely I'd be interested, and definitely would consider it 100%.
Definitely. Yeah, I remember I forgot the con's name, Morphing Expo. I think you had like your own booth where like you brought in a backdrop and you just told people, if you want a photo shoot, I'll be here with backdrop and my stuff. And how did that go for you? Like how was that experience?
So I've had a lot of people ask me this question, and I'll give you the same answer as I tell everyone. Most time when I do a booth or I'm presenting at a con like that, it's not just for me to get content or for me to shoot or me to just have that ability. It's also for me to show up and show out and showcase what I've done. Yeah, I had my own banner. I had prints that were available. I had the whole backdrop and lights set up. And though on one level it's like, yeah, I get to help cosplayers out. I'm taking their photos. They're getting star quality, shoots and images back. That's all great and grand, but at the end of the day, it's really putting yourself out there and making that step. It's something that I've taught one of my apprentices to do recently. It's like, hey, if you want people to know who you are and you want to grow, you have to be able to put yourself out there. And so me getting a booth and me setting up, on one level it was, yeah, let's get some content shot, let's work with some cosplayers, let's collaborate, and on one level, again, it's yeah, photo shoots will quote unquote make money, but at the end of the day, I get more joy out of it than I do just the dollar. I get more fun out of, again, taking the shot, setting it up, putting in that hard work, and letting it show off afterward. And really, that's how you grow, is you really have to put yourself out there. And yeah, it was a more phenomenal expo in San Antonio. It was a great con. I've done it all 3 years that it's been alive, except this year. Obviously, with COVID, we weren't able to make it happen. But next year, I mean, you may catch me back there. Though I live now in Illinois, I'll travel back to Dallas for it, because they're moving it to Dallas. They're moving it to the Dallas area this next year. but yeah, I would definitely go back and, again, if you catch me at a con, if I have a booth, or, if I'm setting up, by all means, come get your photo taken. Again, everyone deserves to have their photo shot. And there's one thing I will say about that. A lot of people are nervous, and I think you can kind of relate with this a little bit. A lot
Yeah,
of people are nervous because sometimes their cosplays aren't up to snuff, or they're not, Anarchy official cosplays. They're just kind
yeah,
of like pieced and thrown together, and it doesn't matter what you wear. And this is something that I had this conversation just the other day with Patrick, P Beatty cosplay, that I was shooting the other day. I told him, I said, anybody can wear a helmet, anybody can wear a suit, anybody can get in that suit and in that spandex, but what makes them different is how they wear the suit and how they let it present them and how they present the suit. Everybody wears it differently. You can shoot 1,000 cosplayers and you can do all the same shot and all the same style for each one, but each one of them is going to look different because they are representing it in their own way, and in their own attitude, and in their own, face, and how they define themselves with it. So
yeah,
that's what I mean by that is everybody deserves to get their photo taken, whether it's a top tier cosplay or if it's still growing.
yeah.
uh, so yeah, if you ever catch me at a booth, if you ever catch me at a show, by all means come up to me. Let's take some shots. Let's get you going, and let's make some content.
Definitely, definitely. And talking about some of your work, hold on.
What you got hiding over there?
Is it this one? Yes, it is. Haha. Talking about your work. I know you was recently doing you had some of your prints and you was giving it out to like the first, I think it was what, like 10 people that had comments saying like, hey, so as as everybody can see, this is one of Jose's work, his prints.
Yeah,
And
that is Anthony's Dino Charge, Violet Supercharge, that we did from his first photo shoot 3 years ago.
yeah,
And it's such an iconic image. Again, you really don't see the Supercharge suits that often, and if you
yep,
do, it's very rare. But his was obviously the male version of blue, excuse me, of purple.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, again, we were recreating the boom style shot, and it looks great. It's one
Yeah,
of the most popular ones.
I will definitely agree. When seeing your photos, they look great. Like, just they're
Thank
high,
you.
good quality. Then when you was giving your prints out, I was just like, you know what? Just to show support, like, hell yeah, I want one of your prints. Like, I don't care if it's not me in the suit, or like if it's nobody that I know. Unfortunately, I do know who rocks this picture, and I love his work also. Like, um, these suits are not cheap. I will tell everybody that. Like, anywhere you might go, or you try to part out, or even find maybe used cosplay, like, they're not cheap. Like, they will add up to, let's say, close to $1,000 or so. Like, depending.
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum at least. So it's about saving up. Like, I will say this as a person that cosplays. You can go cheap, but don't go too cheap, because you will tell the difference in quality, or of your spandex or helmet, or whatever part of the suit you get. Um, you will tell the difference once you see another cosplayer with the same suit, and you'll want, as they say, you'll want to upgrade,
Yeah.
because you want a better suit once you see that, like, your suit looks dull than compared to the other person that's like glossy or shiny, or just um clean, you can even say.
Yeah.
Helmets also, like, helmets cost like top like $400 or $500 top.
Yeah.
You can go cheap, but like the cheapest you'll probably go will be like 300. And um don't go eBay, because those are not
Right.
those are not worth it. Don't waste your money, people. I will trust you. I will tell you that. Rather you find somebody that's cheaper, or that, like, you've seen their work already. Yeah, definitely. So I want to say thank you for
Yeah.
this.
You're welcome.
Everybody definitely like check out his work. Even just say hi if you see him around your local area, or even on Instagram or Facebook. Like, just say hi. Jose's definitely a dope person to just say hi to, and just to talk to for like 5 minutes if you can't, because he's always shooting.
Yeah, you're right. I am always shooting. And and something you said about cosplay is something that's very similar with photography as well. um don't go cheap on the photography level either, whether it's camera, whether it's lighting, anything that you can spend money in and investing like that. Don't do it cheaply, because again, like you said, you're going to see somebody with something either better or something bigger or newer, and you're gonna want to upgrade and get that as well. I can definitely agree with that, and that's 100% true. And speaking of those prints, I'm probably going to do another round of those, because in those boxes over there, right there, in those boxes are a bunch of prints that again, um, I just have loosely sitting. And another thing I will say when I'm at cons is that I don't make money on prints. I really don't. Prints are more just for handout and for like takeaway. Hey, you stopped by my booth, you've got something that was mine that you can take away with you for free. Usually, I pass them out to kids, because kids like that image or that photo that they can just hold on to and keep. And
Yeah.
so, if you ever catch me at a booth, yeah, come grab one of my prints. Let's talk. And of course, if you're in cosplay, whether it's starting tier or high tier cosplay, yeah, I definitely, let's talk, let's shoot, let's make some content, and let's have some fun.
Definitely. We're always having a good time. And you're always like great with like saying like, stand here, do this pose. You even help with like if something looks weird,
Yep.
or you just help them out, because that's the, if you want the perfect shot, as you can say, um you need a help.
Yeah.
Also.
I'll never forget that shot that you took with Manny and his Sentry, and his pink Sentry. And literally, you've got one hand on your buckle on your morpher, and then the other is just literally pointing, and you're literally pointing right at me. And of course, Manny's got his gun, that he's mate shifted, and he's literally holding it literally right up at me, like like you're firing, and you're giving him an order. And I'm like, that was just like a simple yet simply posed shot, and it again is like an immortalized shot. It's one that you don't see, you will probably never see again. And I mean, when it comes to setting up the shot, whatever it takes. And as a photographer, I will say, a lot of people won't do a lot of things to take the shot. Like, some photographers won't get on their back or lay down to get that up angle shot that is just perfect. But it's whatever it takes, because doing that may just make you different than all the rest.
Yeah, definitely. I will say that is one of my favorite photos. Besides you taking picture of just me myself, but that I just felt like I don't know if that was part of the comics. I don't remember, because I was a little way back from the series, but it was just that moment where like you was just like, do this, and I was like, oh, that's an awesome idea. and
it felt real.
And it felt real. Like, even though you're just in a suit, whatever, and not like on TV or whatever, but it just felt real to just be like, go, and like you said, just do this, and it was great. Like, I will say that was like one of my top favorite pictures, and I will be, when New York Comic Con, when those dates come, I will definitely be reposting that picture as
well.
well.
You know what? If you want, what I can do, I can make it into a larger print for you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the 8x10 size, because that one was not normally 8x10. I think that was actually I think that was an 11x4.
It was a long one.
Yeah, it was a long one. It was a taller one. I can make that into a print, and actually, you can hang it up in your place, because that's you. Who doesn't want to have a print of themselves?
Yeah, definitely. If you do, I'll definitely take it. I'll definitely like hang it up somewhere in my room.
I got you.
But I'll definitely, when New York Comic Con goes around Thursday, I'll do a throwback Thursday memory of that that day, even though it wasn't on Thursday of the day, but definitely
Right.
one of my iconic picture that I loved in my suit. Um, so just a brief discussion because we don't need to get all into it because we already know. As a
Okay.
photographer, I know there is a lot of drama with people taking your pictures, removing your logo, or just like judging your work. How do you grasp all that and not feed into that negativity?
So when it comes to my logo is it's just like a signature. It really, really is. And if my signature is going to be on something, that's because I did it, I stamped it, it's out there. When someone removes it or crops it out, yeah, it kind of does hurt me a little bit. It kind of like offends me just a bit, but it's something that I get over because normally what they'll do is they'll tag me or they'll put me in the description of whatever they post, wherever they post it on social media. Now, as far as people critiquing work, everyone's a critic. Everyone has an opinion. And, everyone's entitled to that opinion. We don't all have to agree. We can all agree to disagree. I try really not to feed into it. I'll give you a perfect example. I just shot my friend Adam, who is pink.hero on Instagram, and he did a male gender bent MMPR pink in the Bat in the Sun style suit and everything.
Yeah.
And one of his photos that I published, I got a bunch of comments. I can tell you probably I can count on both hands at least how many comments that I had to like deflect or delete. And I'll be honest, if it's a negative comment and something that's offensive and rude, I'm gonna delete it. I'm not gonna leave it there on the post. I don't like that kind of negativity in my own life and in my own work, and I don't want it to represent me or represent those that I work with. There is this thing of cause positivity and being positive and letting that positivity just spiral into more positivity. And
Yeah.
so if you're going to come on my page or come into the comments or whatever and you have a critique, at least let it be constructive. Let it be something that, hey, yeah, maybe I'll try that next time, or hey, maybe I could have done this differently, or oh, this angle would have worked. If you're a fellow photographer and you have a critique, I'll take it. Because I'll respect it from you. And just like another cosplayer, if they were to have a critique and like, oh, you could have done it this way or what have you, great. But if your critique is like negative and it's full of hatred and you're making fun and you're laughing and you're just finding ways to criticize and degrade, I'm just going to delete it and move on because I don't need that. The person that I shot doesn't need that. And I completely believe in just letting the positivity flow.
Definitely. Um, yeah, just a lot of negative things out there, but we just gotta pass on through.
Yeah.
Pass on through. So before we end our show, I usually like to tell people like anything inspirational, any shout outs you want to give to anybody, or like whatever you want to say in general for some positive vibes during this 2020 year. So you have anything?
What I will say is 2020 has been a very difficult year. It has been very up and down, mostly down. But no matter what is going on in your life, no matter what is happening, no matter what you're going through, whatever pain is it that may be hurting you or that's suffering you, know this: it always gets harder before it gets better, and it will always get better. And find that light in whatever you do day to day, whether it's your job, whether it's something that you do as a hobby, whether it's something you like to do for fun, spending time with your kids, spending time with your partner, your significant other, family, whatever it is, find that light and that joy and just let it shine. Don't let all of the negativity that surrounds the world and the state of the world and what things are going on in the world, don't let all that darkness outshine you and take your shine away. Because something that an old manager at an old job used to tell me, and I still believe in it to this day, is no one can take your shine from you. You only give it away. So don't give out your star shine. Don't let somebody just come and take it from you and run away. only you can give it away. So find that light and just let it carry you. And yeah, that's really it. Should I give out some shout outs?
Sure. If you want.
I want to shout out to people that I have, of course, popularly and famously worked with. Anthony Grillo, Deca Mexican, Ivan Saffold, Patrick Sky, my brother, my Asian brother from another mother, Edward Photography, Arsenio Garcia, all of the Jamingers team, all the Henshin Squad team. Everybody that anybody that I've ever, of course, gotten to work with and worked with on this journey. Of course, even yourself, Lewis. It's been a pleasure knowing you. It's been a pleasure, of course, keeping in touch, and of course, even doing this live and this interview. It's been amazing, and yeah, I mean, I just look forward to everything going forward. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
I really do appreciate you saying yes to coming on the show today, and definitely a big thank you for like the pictures you've already taken of me, and definitely hope to work with you some more once things settle down a little bit. Hopefully it does, and or you can just come to New York.
That's been thrown out there. That's been suggested. It's like, hey, why don't you just rent a car and come to New York? And I'm like,
it's a little chilly right now, but we'll make something work.
We'll make it work.
So everybody, follow my boy Jose. He's on Instagram. You can follow him on as his name right on there, Jose H Photo.
And go follow Lewis. Go follow Lewis.
Go follow me, yes, on it's
_official.
But yeah, much love, and thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a joy. Thank you for taking the time, and yeah, if ever you need me again, hit me up.
I definitely will. Everybody, all of Jose's information will be in the descriptions down below, or on Facebook. We'll definitely be tagging him. Thank you so much for everybody who's watched today. Definitely subscribe, follow, and like on all our social media pages. And just want to say goodbye.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.